Once again, these are the measurements on this antenna. You want to get 1¼ inch between the phase lines, which are those long ones that go up and down. 9½ inch spacing between the elements. That would be a 4¾ spacing for where the balun connects. That's halfway between the middlemost two elements. And you want to get a 5¼ inch spread on those whiskers. Once again, we're going to put this on PVC standoffs, and there are a few differences between this and the other one, but mainly it's the same. The one other measurement that's important, but it's the least important measurement, is that there's about a 5¼ inch spread on those whiskers. So here we have all of our PVC cut. This will all easily come out of 1 10-foot length. 2 36, 5 are 2 3/8 inches, and 2 are about 3 inches long. And that's all the PVC you need to make this thing, and it'll easily come out of 1 10-foot length. Anybody that watched my first video knows that I like using jigs to do things. It makes it easier for me. If you make something like this, it'll make it easier too. So that'll hold on to that PVC spine nice and tight, while it also holds onto the standoff, holds it in the right position. I have center lines on there so that it makes it easier to center it all up. If you decide to do this, then I think it'll save you some time. Okay, now you can see I've got all the standoffs screwed onto the spine. Now I got it in my handy dandy jig again. Now what I'm showing you here is one of these standoffs that I've drilled the holes for the screws that will hold the whiskers and the phase lines in place. And notice those are to the outside. And by the way, those notches, for anybody that didn't watch that first video, they will really help to keep those phase lines from slipping once you screw down the whiskers and the phase lines. Okay, so they're really important, those notches. But anyway, you can see that those holes are just to the outside of those phase lines, and that's important. So here I'm attaching the phase lines. Now you start in the middle and work your way out. Leave the outermost two unconnected for now. Start with these 3. Make sure you get enough overhang on both ends. And it should go fairly smooth. The only tricky part is you got to remember to try to keep these standoffs square. And fitting those notches really nice. It really does help to make those notches. The next thing to do after you've got these 3 connected is you want to do these crossovers. They got to be X'd, and I think the easiest way to do it is to put a piece of PVC in there, and you get this settled into the notch and tighten down. I should tell you one other thing. If you want to paint this thing, the time to do it is before you do this. I painted one that's black. It looks nice. Also, black is a little less noticeable, so your neighbors will have less to complain about if they're that tight, which mine are, by the way. So the next thing, of course, is to put on the whiskers. And loosen it a little bit, loosen it up, pop this thing on there, and crank it down again. You don't want to crank it too hard. You don't want to crank it too hard. So here's the antenna without the balun on it. Now, before you go to the trouble of making a reflector, make sure you actually need one. You might do just fine without it, and this makes it more multi-directional. If you put a reflector on it, it's really going to only want to receive from one direction. It's a lot harder to aim when it's got a reflector on it, so just be aware of that. This is what I'll be using for my reflector. These are aluminum bars, 7/8 by 38 inches long. I've marked them for the center, and this is the reflector spine that I'll be using. And I put a line on it using that piece of wood, so that I know so that I have it all marked up and know where the center is. Okay, so here we are with the everything's all connected up. These are all my aluminum bars are on this. Now, if I had it to do over, I'd get skinnier aluminum bars because these are a little bit heavier than I prefer. I tried to split these bars in my table saw using an abrasive blade, but it really just wasn't working, so I decided to go with this for the video. And also, you know, this will work fine. It's just a little heavier than I prefer, that's all. So the next step is to just put it together using PVC fittings, and then we're ready to go. Put it up on the roof, but that'll have to wait until another video. So here it is all put together. Now I just want to show one more thing on here. You want to have your reflector be roughly 5.5 inches from the whiskers, but this isn't quite right, but I'm going to leave it like that for now because I don't feel like doing it over right now. And anyway, it's close enough in my opinion. This should work fantastic. So here it is completed, and standing vertically the way it should be mounted. If you put it on the roof, it goes vertically, not horizontally. And this is a very nice antenna. I did not design it. This is my way of making it. The only thing I'd do differently is maybe paint it black, so that it's less noticeable once it's up on the roof. The other thing I may not have mentioned, I'm going to say it now, is there's no glue on any of this PVC. It's just pressure fit together. That really should be adequate. There's really no reason to glue it. You could, I suppose, but you don't need to. Okay? Okay, here's one last thing. There's other stuff you can use to make that reflector besides what I have. These cooling racks that you can buy 2 for $1 at the dollar store would work good. You'd need to connect those up. You could solder them if you're good at soldering. Then this is an old picture frame I got from from a yard sale. Paid a couple of bucks for it, and that would work just fine. An aluminum picture frame. Get a couple of those, it would work fantastic. And then, of course, inside, you know, the sky's the limit. You could use aluminum foil on a cardboard board, and that would be a first-rate reflector. But you couldn't use it outside because of the rain and the wind. The wind would blow it away. So that's it, and good luck. I hope you have fun if you make one of these.